And welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan, and during this international break, we are going to break the template with some amazing differentials, players that nobody really owns, and we're going to try and identify which players are going to do super well before anyone else realises they're great picks, and before anyone realises that they have to pick them. So guys, 8 today, going from the most owned to the least owned and the most differential. If you guys enjoy these differential videos, please do make sure to drop a like and do subscribe if you're new around here. I love these videos. Let's get started. So, our first pick is our knee. He's probably the poster boy differential right now, and I don't think this is one that is too much of a hidden gem anymore. Maybe a lot of people already know about this guy as a differential to go for, and I do feel like, you know, this is not going to be my best differential. Like, I do like picking out a differential, and I do think I'm pretty good at it, but this is not really a player that I've come up with on my own. Everyone's talking about him already, but I do feel like he still deserves his place in this video. 4.6% ownership, so he is the most owned of all of the differential players in today's video, and you can kind of see why. Returns galore, only 3 starts so far this season, yet he's still managed to get 3 goals and an assist, really overperforming his numbers. But he's just a player who, at the start of this season and the back end of last season, he's getting an attacking return every single game. Like, he is unstoppable. So even though he's got a great fixture against Burnley, you expect him to do well there. After that, Man City, hey, is he going to continue his streak? Why not? We've got Brentford and Crystal Palace after that as well, which aren't horrendous fixtures, I guess, but they're not amazing. But the point is with Awoniyi that it doesn't matter who he's been playing. He's already had some super tough fixtures, and he's already scoring goals and getting assists in those games. So I don't think that's too much to worry about, really. 6.6 million is a decent price for him. I really like this differential pick, and you can see his predicted points are not too bad here either, guys. 4.7 against Burnley is definitely very interesting indeed, particularly for a nice cheap striker. And I know a lot of you guys are interested in moving to new strikers right now, so why not have a look at Awoniyi of Forest? Alright, let's throw a goalkeeper in here. I know a few of you guys maybe own Pickford and want to remove him from your team. Maybe you're like me, you own Johnston, and you're worried that Henderson is going to become the new main Crystal Palace goalkeeper. You're looking elsewhere for a new goalkeeper. Well, how about Fletcher? He's a goalkeeper we spoke about a lot in pre-season. We got a little bit worried about his kind of pre-season performances maybe, but overall, he started the season fine. 14 points, it's nothing world-beating, but it's okay, and certainly Brentford are a team that have shown some positive signs defensively. Even though he's only kept 1 clean sheet, we have got 1.27 expected clean sheets here, so we are expecting maybe a little bit more than we've seen before. We've got Everton and Forest coming up, 2 games which definitely could potentially yield clean sheets, unless Awoniyi has anything to say about it in that's that Nottingham Forest game. But certainly against Everton, clean sheet on the card. We're getting a lot of saves from Fletcher as well. 13 saves already this season in his 4 games, so we're looking at probably a clean sheet point at a minimum each game, which is very nice as well. And with so few clean sheets in the world, it seems like going for a goalkeeper who's making saves at least might be the play here. So maybe Fletcher is going to be a good goalkeeper pick going forward if you're looking to replace Pickford or you're looking to replace Johnston. And he's differential. Not a lot of people going in on Fletcher right now, and a good way into that Brentford defence. Our next player is Harvey Barnes, and he is differential for a reason. Yes, there's a good reason. Only 2.9% of FPL managers have him in their teams right now, and that's because he is yet to start a game. He has got minutes in every single game so far, but hasn't had his start yet, which is really difficult in the Premier League. Now, Newcastle fans are being very vocal, and they want Barnes to start, whether that's ahead of Gordon or playing alongside Gordon, and maybe Almiron dropping out of this Newcastle team. Almiron been a little bit disappointing so far, so maybe we could see Barnes on the left, Gordon on the right. And to be fair, I thought about putting Gordon in this video, but I really feel like when Harvey Barnes plays, he is going to be the far more dangerous of the new players, and it's a super big risk to try and predict whether Barnes is going to actually get game time or not. But you look through some of these fixtures after the Brentford game, Sheffield United, Burnley, we've got some really nice fixtures for quite some time for Newcastle, and I'm sure all of us are interested in those Newcastle players. If Barnes suddenly starts playing, and there is definitely a lot of reason to suspect that he might start playing, Newcastle fans are desperate for this to happen, then he's going to be an amazing FPL asset. So again, I know a lot of people are going to be, you know, writing comments right now, Barnes hasn't even started a game yet, you know, how do we even know he's going to start? That's the whole point in these differentials and trying to predict the future and get ahead of trends. That's why we do these videos. We're trying to predict the future rather than just relying on what we've already seen. And if Barnes starts, and there's definitely a chance that happens, he is suddenly going to be an insane FPL asset. That's what we're looking for, to get ahead of the crowd. As soon as he starts playing, everyone is going to be buying him, right? So can we get ahead of this one and collect those points against the likes of Sheffield United and Burnley and maybe take advantage of those? Or maybe we can wait one more game week, wait for that Brentford game to come and go, and then go for him in game week 6. That's definitely a possibility as well, because these differentials are not just for one game week, they are for the slightly longer term. So Barnes definitely should be on your radar right now. If he gets game time, he's going to go nuts. And speaking of Newcastle players, let's add another one to the list. Fabian Schär here, 5 million defender, 2.4% owned, so pretty differential there. And Newcastle defence has been pretty disappointing so far. We all know that by now, but there has been a pretty good reason for that. And that is because they've had horrible, horrible fixtures. But it looks like those horrible fixtures are finally coming to an end. And a lot of people are looking to go in on some Newcastle players. Now, a lot of people going for Kieran Trippier, a little bit expensive at 6.5 million. And I do think that Trippier actually could maybe get rotated a little bit. He's getting on a little bit, getting a little bit older. We've got these tough Champions League games, and Livermento's been brought in for a lot of money as well. So you do feel like Trippier may not be 100% nailed. Probably play most games, but not every single one. Fabian Schär, I would say, is very much a nailed player. So even though Trippier, you like the look of him for his attacking returns, you know, he's getting those assists. Trippier is obviously very creative as a player. Fabian Schär, historically, has been a very good player for attacking returns as well. In terms of centre-backs, you can't really do much better in terms of kind of attacking centre-backs. Fabian Schär, he will drive up the pitch, he'll get the odd assist, he will be that target man from those set pieces, he'll score from corners, he'll take long shots as well whenever he gets the opportunity. He is a defender who naturally generates XG and XA throughout the season. We saw that last year. You know, you only need to get one goal from him over the next 4 game weeks or something like that, add a clean sheet to that, you're going to see like a huge mega score from this guy. He'll get bonus points as well, and it's all going to look very amazing. So Fabian Schär, a little bit more expensive than the 4.4 million Botman, but he is differential. He has got a decent amount of attacking threat there, and is the kind of player who you put yourself in the position to be lucky. A lot of people will say, oh, you had Schär in your team, you just got lucky where he scored a goal, you got lucky with a defender scoring a goal. With a player like this guy, you are really creating the right environment for you to become lucky. And that, I think, is a lot of what FPL is about, creating your opportunities to become lucky. And Fabian Schär definitely delivers on that kind of promise. Gabriel Jesus. There was a time in pre-season where this guy was pretty much essential. Everyone had him in their FPL teams, and for good reason. The argument was, with Gabriel Jesus, it allows you to get a player in the Arsenal attack without taking up one of those valuable midfield slots. Now more than ever, we know those midfield slots are so valuable. There are so many midfielders that we all want in our teams right now, and we can't have all of them. So if you want to get involved in the Arsenal attack for these fixtures against Everton, Spurs, Bournemouth, 3 really nice fixtures on the bounce, you're going to have to get creative. You might not be able to have both Saka and Martinelli and Ødegaard in there because they're taking up the midfield slot. So why not go for Gabriel Jesus, Arsenal's main man, Arsenal's main striker whenever he is fit. We know this guy is nailed on whenever he's been fit for Arsenal over the last year and a bit, I guess. So yeah, when he's fit, he starts, he plays. I wouldn't worry too much about Eddie Nketiah. I think Jesus is the nailed on starting striker for Arsenal. He's had 2 appearances off the bench now. In his second appearance off the bench, he scored against Manchester United, as we know. He's only played 15 minutes of Premier League football, but after this long international break, he will be more than fit and more than ready to take his place back up front as the number 9 for Arsenal. Really is suiting the way Arsenal play. Jesus is just the perfect fit, and I think Arsenal are going to become better with Jesus in the team. We know he gets a lot of opportunities to score goals and get assists for his teammates as well in these fixtures. They're so good. I honestly, if I'm going to pick one differential in this video that I'm actually going to go for myself, it's probably going to be Jesus. Seriously, guys, he was considered essential before. He's fit again, so why is he not considered essential once again? He should be. And at 2.1% ownership, he's going to be super differential, and I feel like if you've got an Ollie Watkins in your team, or maybe you've given up on Nicholas Jackson maybe, or another forward you have in your team you don't like right now, if you can get to Gabriel Jesus, I feel like he could really reward you over the next 3 game weeks. So really, really excited about this 2.1% ownership differential. Carlton Morris, 1.4% selected. that's pretty differential, guys. That's pretty differential. And newsflash, guys, today we have the announcement. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but we've got a double game week for both Luton and Burnley. That's going to be in game week 7. So we had to throw a Luton Town player in here. I feel like the one player I'm interested in out of both Luton and Burnley is going to be Morris. He just looks like the right player to pick. We've already seen him get a goal and an assist in Luton's 3 games. He's obviously on penalties, which is going to be really useful for getting those FPL points. He's got decent amount of XG there, 0.99 XG, 0.61 XA. Really, actually not such bad numbers for a 5.5 million forward. You know, you have to manage your expectations a little bit. But if you've got a João Pedro in your team, maybe moving him to Morris could work. If you've got another forward in your team that you don't really like anymore, moving to Morris, you know, freeing up a little bit of budget, that could be really helpful for you as well. Or have him as an 8th attacker in your team and rotate him in and out of your team depending on the fixtures. But in general, the Luton fixtures are pretty phenomenal. We've got Fulham, we've got Wolves, we've got the double game week in game week 7 against both Everton and Burnley. And Spurs after that as well. It's not even a bad fixture, is it? So overall, yeah, I like Morris a lot as a pick. I really do, and I feel like I'm tempted to get him myself. Genuinely, I really am. If anyone is going to do it from Luton and Burnley, you have a feeling it's going to be this guy. So, with the double game week on the horizon, all eyes on Carlton Morris. Let's see what he could do. Luton may be bad in defence, but I actually think Morris has shown a bit of promise in attack. Right, this one might be a little bit too rogue, but hear me out. And I'd also like to hear from Manchester United fans. Is Reguilon likely to get game time during this time where Luke Shaw is obviously injured? Is Reguilon going to come into this Manchester United team and play as the left back? If he is, could be pretty decent. 0.3% ownership, and I do apologise, I couldn't find a picture of Reguilon in a Manchester United kit. So you've got an old Spurs kit there instead. But we know he's a pretty attacking player. He really likes to get forward, you know, to a fault in some situations. But 4.4 million, a really cheap way into the Manchester United defence. Maybe this could work in the short term or, you know, in the next couple of months whilst Luke Shaw is injured. You can pick up the clean sheets in these nice fixtures such as Burnley and Crystal Palace, maybe even Brentford there as well. And with Reguilon, you know you're going to have a chance of attacking returns as well because he's a bit of a chaotic player on that left-hand side of the defence, going to be pushing forward and, you know, maybe getting involved in some of the attacking transitions there. So it's an interesting pick. I would like to hear Manchester United fans what your opinion is on this one because I know it's pretty rogue, but at the same time I think this is an interesting differential. I really do, but it is going to depend on him getting game time for Manchester United. But why else has he signed? You know, he's the only fit left back at the club right now. He's signed for a reason, presumably. Is he going to get some game time, particularly by Burnley, by Crystal Palace? And if so, is he going to be picking up those clean sheets? If Manchester United do, we know they're capable defence. Maybe. Is he going to get attacking returns as well? I think I'm interested. Let me know what your thoughts are on this one, though, guys. Particularly Manchester United fans. It's interesting, and it's 0.3% ownership for a reason. It's rogue. And finally, we have got Dan Juma, 0.2% owned. Again, we are getting to the rogue end of the spectrum. Like, I understand when you're trying to pick super differentials, like under 1% owned players, there are going to be question marks around them, and not everyone is going to agree that they're a good pick. If everyone agreed that they were a good pick, then they wouldn't be 0.2% ownership, would they? That's part of the fun of picking these differentials. So, Dan Juma only made 2 starts for Everton so far, but he's done quite a lot during that time, especially in terms of underlying numbers. 14 shots, you know, in this limited game time. I think he's only played about 250 minutes, something like that. 14 shots, 4 big chances, 9 shots in the box, 2.23 XG and 0.44 XA as well. So he's doing a lot. He really is. So could he be the guy to maybe turn things around for Everton a little bit, be their new attacking impetus? We know historically Dan Juma is a very good football player. We've seen him in Spain do very well. Didn't really get the chance at Spurs, but you know, the fact that Spurs were interested in this guy shows that obviously he has got some talent, and we've got like some good numbers and some good fixtures coming up. Luton Town in game week 7. That is, we know already, that's a huge fixture. Any team will be lucky to play against Luton. Like, you get a Luton tax. You see the players like Sterling and Bowen, you know, scoring these really nice points against Luton. It's a home game as well. I like this pick for that Luton pick. I think it could be a really nice, maybe short-term differential from game week 7 and 8 onwards. I feel like that could really, really work there and try and squeeze out some points from the Everton attack. Only 5.5 million as well. It's an interesting one, and that's what we're trying to do here, guys. We're going to try and predict the future. We're going to try and pick some interesting players and maybe some difference makers as well, because, you know, we've seen already there's been some random players scoring some good FPL points recently, and it's been hard to pick some players. The template has been, you know, a little bit dodgy at times, and maybe we do need to be looking outside of the box a little bit to find those big players who are going to score FPL points, and that's what we're trying to do here. And Juma could be the guy, particularly when those good fixtures roll around. So those are your differentials, guys, for this first international break. We'll make sure we'll do kind of semi-regular differentials videos because I love picking out these kind of players. And I think you guys, those of you guys who have commented before, kind of watched my differentials video in the preseason, we picked some really good players that ended up doing really, really well. And I'm glad that's been able to help you guys. And hopefully this new differentials video is going to help you again. It's always a little bit rogue. We're always going to have players that not everyone agrees on. That's why they're differentials. You've got to remember that, guys. But if you enjoyed this nonetheless, please do drop a like, do subscribe if you want more FPL content, and let's see how well these differentials do. All of the stats today, guys, as well as the predicted points, were supplied by Fantasy Football Hub. So if you would like to try out Fantasy Football Hub for free, you get a free trial right now if you click on the link in my description. Top of the description, you can access the full database of Opta stats. You can have a look at all of their AI generated predicted points for future game weeks as well. Have a look at any player you like in the world, well, in the Premier League in the world anyway. But yeah, aside from that, guys, thanks so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.